will remain. Now, going by what is happening in the generality of Nigeria, the fact that before COVID-19, when Middle Belt people were shouting, when Southwest Yoruba people were shouting, we never thought, but I kept saying, and I kept cautioning, I kept writing, I kept talking. Any opportunity I got, I kept raising issues, even with politicians. I even came out and said very clearly in 2012 on a television station that the issue, I think 2010, between 2010 and 2012, but it's in the archives, that the issue I'm seeing in Nigeria is an issue of religion, and that it is an issue of oppression and invasion. As far back as then, I said it. And the best that people did was, so as usual, I'm so used to it now, but I must recall it, is to call me names and threaten me in any way that they could, all the way up to Abuja when I was frequenting Abuja during Jonathan's time. I never lived there, but some people believe that they bought a house for me there in Abuja, so they should go and take their house back since I'm not there. Anyways, so this, what we are talking about today, I have seen it, like my people will say, Tete, I've seen it far. I saw it very long ago and I was talking it. It was even the politicians mainly that were opposing me because it's not politically correct. Today now, what do we have? We have strangers in Abonima because, as I said, that's what you are. If I come to your community, let us say I come to your community, I'm not from the same ethnic group with you. I'm not from the same local government with you. I'm not from the same state with you. And you wake up in the morning and you see me in your community, what am I? I'm a stranger. Even if you recognize me as this woman that is always talking, maybe you don't like the things I say, that's your business. It's my mouth, it's my thinking, it's my opinion. I will say it. Even if you don't like it. So when you see me there, what am I? I'm a stranger. I'm either a good stranger or a bad stranger, but I'm a stranger to your community. So to pretend that because I say so, that I'm not a patriotic Nigerian. What's a patriotic Nigerian? If I cannot be a patriotic Abonima daughter, if I cannot be patriotic to Abonima, if I cannot be patriotic to Ijaw Nation, if I cannot be patriotic to Rivers State, and therefore, by extension, to Ogoni people, to Ikore people, to Ekpeye people, to Ahoda, to Abua, all the ethnic nationalities, if I don't mention you, please don't be offended. Let me know what your nationality is. I will cram it. To Egi people, my loyalty should be to you, all the ethnic nationalities in Rivers State first, before anybody will come and be asking me about loyalty to Nigeria. My loyalty must start from where I come from. It's not a fool that said charity begins at home. Charity is not only sharing of rice and tomato. It is also what is in my heart for you. I may not have rice to give to you today. And if I have love to give to you and you reject it, well, that's your business. But I must continue to love my state and I must continue to love my people. So, we must come to the realization that though the Constitution says that every Nigerian, not every relative of every Nigerian, not a Niger man who has who has an uncle or a grandfather that came from Niger to Nigeria 100 or 200 years ago. No, not those people. Those are not Nigerians. They are Nigerians. The Nigerians are the people that are Nigerians. If you have relatives in Chad, in Mali, in everywhere, Libya, anywhere, you're not a Nigerian. So if the Constitution says that Nigerians have a right to live anywhere they like in Nigeria, yes, that's what the Constitution says. I don't have to agree with it, but that's what it says. That does not mean that anybody can get up empty-handed, maybe with motorcycle, maybe with machete, and come to Abonima and come and be sleeping in people's doorway and say, I'm a Nigerian. You have to prove you're a Nigerian. And I'm calling on all the state governors, not just Niger Delta state governors, all 36 state governors in Nigeria. It is our right, federal government too should know, it is our right that we should be able to say to somebody, where are you from? And if the person says, I'm from Bayelsa, I'm from Akwa Ibom, the person should be able to prove it. How they will prove it will have to be a matter of how we would decide to accept as a form of identity for us in our state. So, if we do not take this responsibility, and we didn't in the past, that is why people are now shouting almost 20 years, how many years after I first started shouting, that people are now shouting invasion, invasion. I was saying this in threat of invasion before this time. Now that the invasion have come, what do? Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement, a movement that I convened along with others in 2014 when I was a delegate to the national conference in 2014. That is when the body was formed. This body wrote officially twice to the South State Governors Forum. Another word that was created for it by them before this time, during not delay them time, is Braced Commission. Bayelsa, Rivers State, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Edo, and Delta. These are the Niger Delta states and the South-South geopolitical zone. It is not oil-producing states we're talking about. We're talking about Niger Delta states and South-South geopolitical zone. That is what the politics identify us with today, and that is what we are until we choose it, and until we choose to change it, rather, that is what we remain as. Now, these two letters were written. I have called for, when Wike set up the neighborhood watch, we needed to support it. But it is the same Rivers people that instigated the condemnation and the refusal of the neighborhood watch. Today, the region of the Southwest have their Amatekun. It was after the Amatekun that the organization I convened wrote to Governor Ekowa of Delta State and individually to the governors. And these letters were mailed by delivery, by DHL delivery. So I know that all the governors received, or all the government houses received these letters. Now, whether their aides gave them the letter to read or not, that is not my own to know. What I know is that those letters were sent, and the Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement have proof that those letters were sent. We called for an interaction with the state governors, with the South-South governors body. We called for that interaction, and we also called on them to put together their own security outfit. And then, of course, the COVID-19 came. We also sent a second letter to that same effect, which the governors have not still responded to till today. That is okay. The evidence that we try to reach out to them to discuss the future of our people and our region, to discuss the security of our people and our region is not in dispute, and they cannot deny it. History in the future will be able, Niger Delta Self-Determination Movement will be able to confront the governors of the Niger Delta states in the future on this matter of security. Somebody like Governor Wike that have tried to do what he believes is the right thing to do as a politician under the circumstances that he finds himself. The system, the political system for and against will not allow our people to see the truth of what is happening and what the consequences of what is happening will be to us. Since 2015, we have progressively seen the increase of certain things in Nigeria that was not there before, at least openly and so blatantly and so lawlessly in Nigeria, from headsmen carrying AK-47 to headsmen killing Christians, killing our people, destroying farms. These are facts. They are there. And they have moved closer and closer and closer. It was about 3 years ago, that I first got the information from a person in Rivers State that gave the information to me that a particular place in Rivers State, that their forest has been taken over. And I got in touch with somebody, a politician of long standing, that is from that area. And I mentioned it to him and another person, a businessman from that area. I mentioned it to him and I said, this is what is happening in your place. Is it true? They said yes, but there is nothing they can do. At that time, I said to myself, well, Abonima is only a bridge to cross to Abonima by road. The other is by boat. We may have to revert to going to Abonima by boat. And in any case, you cannot come and rear cattle in Abonima. There is no land. But because the idea is not to rear cattle, they are coming as close as they possibly can to any place that has land. And so the target may not necessarily be the land. The target is the communities. That is the target. And in places like Abonima, the target is the resources. Is Kola, is Soku, and they're there. And our people don't see it. So these things are very glaring. They are very worrying. And if we cannot figure out for ourselves the responsibility we owe ourselves as people and as electorates to bring these issues up, instead the politicians want to be politically correct. And when somebody takes a risk and goes against being politically correct, like Governor Nyesom Wike, he is attacked. He is isolated. No matter what he does, it's not good. even if out of frustration, and everybody is frustrated and have a right to be free. Even in the Bible, you will find God said to Moses, do like this. Moses did not. He was frustrated. He was angry with his people because of the ways of his people. He broke the 10 commandments. 10 commandments. The first one, Moses broke it. Why did he break it? He broke it because he was angry and frustrated with his people. He was making sacrifices with them. What did they do to Moses? Why did you bring us here? Who sent you? Did we send you? Did we call you? Look at what you're doing. We don't want. By the time Moses came back, they were worshiping cattle. And they've used their gold to mold their lifeless gods for themselves. And that was why Moses broke the 10 commandments. But did God understand? God was angry with him. I sent you a message. I gave you something. You destroyed my word. And Moses paid the price. It's the same thing. The Bible is there for us as Christians to use it as an example to live our lives today and to learn our lessons today. So that is what is happening. When Aaron and his sister Miriam were angry with Moses and almost rebelled, if not rebelled, against Moses and was criticizing Moses, what did God say to them? You didn't call Moses. You didn't anoint Moses. I called him, not you. You have no right. God told them. And they are Moses' brother and sisters. What happened? God punished Miriam. It's in the Bible. If we believe in that same living God, we should not be foolish to say that there are certain things we will accept in the Bible, but that is in the olden days, and that there are certain things we will not accept in the Bible because it's not in the New Testament. That's not how you deal with God. That's not how you work with God. That's not how you obey God. You obey the word of God, and you pray that you're able to understand it and apply it to every day as you live. Our right to worship God, the living God, to believe that Jesus Christ is his son and that the Holy Ghost is here to guide and direct us is a right. Nobody can take it for us. Nobody should take it from us. But that's where we're heading. Because we're quiet. That is where we're heading. Because we're quiet. Now, these are choices at the end of the day we have to make for ourselves. Nobody can force you to make those choices. So, if today in Rivers State we are able to move around from Abonima to Buguma, Buguma to Degema, Degema to Emoha, Emoha to Ndele, to Mbiama to Ngeni, to Borokiri to Wakreke to Boni and all those places. If we are able to freely move around, and we move around like the way we used to move around, and if COVID-19 is around, we've made the choice, and we will have to live with those choices and consequences, because in my opinion, in the early days of COVID-19, the things that Wike did and the responsibilities that he took upon himself were the only responsibilities and the only thing that was available for him to do, because he is not a medical doctor, and there is no medical doctor in Nigeria, even in the world today, that have an answer that can answer COVID-19 directly right now, not to talk of in Nigeria, not to talk of in Rivers State. Those things are not on ground. And so he did what everybody else was doing, should do. If today he has said, okay, fine, people are abusing me, people are saying what I did was wrong, maybe what I did is right, maybe what I did is wrong. But if you're fighting for a people and Wike took risks to his life to get up in the middle of the night and start going to borders. He took risks that many other governors did not take. How many governors did that? Many other governors will not leave their government house in the night to say that they want to go and patrol border. For who? For what? But he did. And yet it was not good. No matter what he did, it was not good. Now, Bonny people are shouting. First, it was the fish that we don't even have an answer to. And in some of the researches, it's even, it seemed to have been in other places, not just only in the Niger Delta places like Bayelsa, River State. It's in even outside Nigeria. So, if those things, we're battling with those things. Now, Bonny, I hear, and if it is a lie, the person who put it out be the liar, not me. I read it from a lady that says she's a Bonny woman. I have no reason to doubt her. They are saying that Bonny is not safe. Why is Bonny not safe? They are saying people are dying of what they don't know. That's also what Kanu said. They say people are dying of what they don't know. Of course, if it's COVID-19, of course, they don't know what people are dying from. So now, if people are dying in Bonny, it is either the people, somebody who was ill with whatever they are getting in Bonny, went to Bonny, and then somebody else in Bonny picked it up. Maybe that person is a Bonny person going back, or maybe that person is an oil worker going to change shift. People should not say you're stigmatizing. This is not about stigma. I will not stigmatize. I mean, I didn't stigmatize even people that were when there was no answer for it. It's not about stigmatization. Even the COVID-19 is worse because it's something that you don't see. So it's not about stigmatization. But now, whether we like it or not, Bonny people are crying out. And I want to caution our people, especially our people that live in the riverine area, the people that have to go in by boat, the people that have to cross ocean and creeks and rivers to get to where they're going, like Kola, like Soku, is an island. And so whatever enters there, until that thing lives there, or if it's a human being decides to live there, leave that place and go to another place, or if it is, God forbid, if it is COVID-19, until it is definitely destroyed, killed, it will stay there and start rigmaroling from one person to the other. And this COVID-19 is something that it can reinfect a person who has been infected before. Because so far, there is no claim that there is no proof that you build up antibodies to COVID-19 to the extent that it will not affect you anymore. Even though you have antibodies of malaria in your body, when you have too many malaria counts in your blood, malaria parasite counts in your blood, you will come down with malaria. So if it can reinfect, then where is the proof that it is safe? So the only way to keep malaria away from you is to not allow mosquito to bite you. It's the same thing with COVID-19. Please, Ann Kyo is not saying COVID-19 is malaria, malaria is COVID-19. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that COVID-19 can reinfect. Malaria can also reinfect, even though we have malaria parasites already in our body. But malaria kills, just the same way COVID-19 kills. I'm not saying their symptoms are the same. I'm not a doctor. But malaria kills, COVID-19 kills. So, the responsibility is in your hands. The responsibility is in your hands to take care of yourself by social distancing, by wearing masks, by staying in your house when you don't have to go out. These are your responsibilities. It's not the responsibility of the governor. It's not the responsibility of Ann Kyo Briggs. It's your own personal responsibility. And I think that we have made it clear as a people that we do not like or want the restrictions of to the extent of staying at home without being able to access our daily bread. So since we're taking the risk to access our daily bread, then we should take responsibility for whatever comes outside of the decisions that we have made. I keep maintaining, because I do it. I pray to God and I call everybody to do that. We should pray that God keeps COVID-19 out of our communities, out of our lives, out of our states, so that we are kept safe, because there is no answer to COVID-19. It is when government settles down that we will be able to address other issues that have always been there. And this issue of what we are going to do